Hey everybody, alright, so this is the installation video of how to install your stubby slides or USB compact, whatever you want to call it. So I like to call it the USB compact because it's pretty close to being the same size as a USB compact, but still has a hammer and everything. It's an mk23, so you can call it that or call it a stubby mk23. But yeah, this installation, the first part is actually going over how to install the version with the proprietary quick detach suppressor. Alright, so the tools you'll need a screwdriver, Phillips head with a small Phillips head bit like that, and a flathead as well. Okay, you'll need some cutters. These are pretty beefy little wire cutters, and you need this to cut the recoil spring, or yeah, it's called a recoil spring. But and you'll also need a center punch. This is a spring-loaded center punch. This thing's actually very strong and can punch through a lot of little hard-to-do pins. And you'll need a saw. So I recommend using a metal fine tooth saw. Don't use a little a piece of crap, or this is not a piece of crap, this is a Leatherman wave, but don't use a wood saw for this. You want to use a fine tooth. This is just for demonstration purposes only. And you'll need a piece of tape. Okay, so let's get started. You have your mk23. In this case, this is the Novice SSX23. So, all right, you're gonna remove the slide. In order to remove the slide, you pull it back to this mark, and that allows you to push this pin out. And you're gonna use something blunt and pointy, like the bottom of the magazine. Push like so, and this will pop out. Okay, set that aside and take your slide off. Push your slide forward. You don't have to go very far. Just go past that notch here, and it'll just come right up. So set your frame aside. You'll need to cut that and mark it very soon. So you're left with your full length mk23 slide, and you'll need to remove the inner barrel. And how to do that is you push it forward and lift up. All right, and you need to take your nozzle assembly out like so. Right there. So you set your slide on the side. You don't need it anymore. So you take your nozzle assembly, how it freely moves like that, gonna install that right into your new stubby slide, and make sure it freely moves as well. And it should, because I printed with a higher tolerance or a bigger tolerance because of printing. So you set your slide aside, and you're left with your outer barrel assembly. So you have to remove this pin here, and this pin, the teeth are on the left side, with the barrel facing away from you. The teeth are on the left side, so you push that pin from the right to the left like so. And you want to set this down on a slanted surface like so, and push down on that pin. Okay, like so. So be careful not to slip, and then if you slip off of that, go off and you'll punch your hand. So you want to put that on the surface to where you can actually push that pin aside. So you can use your pliers, and setting in the open part of the pliers allows you to push that pin out without pushing into the table. Okay. All right, so you're left with this, and a lot of times the outer barrel can be difficult to remove from the hop-up assembly. So sometimes you'll need to take a flathead screwdriver and try your best to pry these apart like so. So mine was actually pretty easy to do, but for my ASG version, that crap was really difficult to pull out. So yep, there you go. Now I need to tell you about the Tokyo Marui version, and the clone versions, like all the rest, are completely different. The hop-up unit itself, the plastic comes out to be about this far out. So it's a lot bigger than the or a lot longer than the clone version. So the barrel itself will actually be pretty short, pretty much this length. So if you wanted to do if you wanted to use this slide, you can purchase the Tokyo Marui outer barrel or aftermarket negative 14 millimeter counterclockwise outer barrel. So someone sells that as well, and it's like CNC aluminum, so that's a pretty cool thing. And you would take this and put it onto your clone, your ASG outer or hop-up unit. So that leaves you with a really short barrel, like so. But if you're getting this kit, you don't need to do that, because like I said again, this is extremely simplified. This is so easy to do. Back in the day, it used to be incredibly difficult to do, but now it's really easy. So you don't need outer barrels anymore. The kit that comes with the suppressor, throw those away or set them aside. Now you're left back with the outer barrel, and you need to remove the top dead center shroud here. And for the ASG or any other version besides the SX version, it won't have a top dead center mod right here, which is again a super key mod to get for the mk23 platform. So this is the Novidge version. It has a top dead center already, and the other versions, I think you want to get the Hadron Designs top dead center mod. I think it has 3 different versions. He's got the single screw version, like this is actually one single screw version. He's got one with a plate here with 2 screws, and he also has one that has 3 screws for even more adjustments. So they're all pretty crazy. So now that you have your hop-up top dead center shroud off, you're gonna look at the rubber. So a lot of times with the SSX23, for some reason, it comes to you completely filthy, completely dirty. And that gunk that's on the outside of the bucking there is also on the inside of the barrel, which sucks. I don't know why. I think it's like the salty air or something. I think the Chinese grease that they're using is staining everything, staining the rubber, and this sucks. It's really gross. Or maybe they put oil on this stainless steel thing. I don't know. Something with the machining process that makes it completely dirty. So you want to clean all that, clean your barrel and everything. All right. So you want to back to disassembly. You want to take off these 2 screws. Actually, I already did it in this hop-up unit right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it with this one as well. All right, like so. And you're left with this. Take this out, come on, like so. Man, that is just terrible. I couldn't clean this, obviously. The barrel is clean, but the hop-up bucking is completely stained. I didn't bother to use acetone, but I did bother to wrap the thing with Teflon. So let's go ahead and take this out. So you want to replace the inner barrel with a 100 millimeter inner barrel. So this is a shorter inner barrel. I'm going to slot that inside like so. And make sure that the rubber sits in that window properly. So you can kind of see that it's not fully seated. I'm going to stick something like a toothpick, or in this case is the Allen key. You got to make sure that rubber fully seats in that window, like so. Alright, so that's a 100 millimeter inner barrel. And you're going to need to take the spring guide, or actually recoil spring guide, out. and you see this thing's really long. My kit comes with a shorter version. This is also 3D printed. A shorter version recoil spring guide rod. So you can set this aside. You don't need that anymore. Now for the spring, you're going to want to clip it down. I actually clipped it in half on this version, which is, you don't want to do that. You want to clip it just 1 inch off of the end. So right about here. Let's see. I'm not actually going to do it, but that's, let's count, actually, let's go right here. Let's count the coils. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coils you'll clip off. You can do 7 or 8 coils, and you should be good with that. So once you clip it, you'll set that aside and take the front where it's flared out. You're going to install that onto your new spring guide rod. So you can see mine's a little bit too short. I'm actually, I can stretch it out a little. So, all right, now it's stretched out a little. So go ahead and install that spring guide rod into your hop-up unit. So, and again, this is actually pretty difficult to do before, because you would have to cut your spring guide like so, somewhere back here, and then you have to grind out a section like so for it to fit. You could cut the front off, but I don't want to do that because I like the flared front here. Alright, so my kit again comes with a solid printed spring guide rod or recoil guide rod. I'm going to set that right into that notch here, right here, and press it into place like so. Alright, now you can start reassembly. So put your other half of the pop-up unit together and start screwing everything down. Don't screw too tight. You can kind of just use your fingers like so. Keep your pinky extended so you know to be gentle. Alright, so right there you can feel the resistance. And then install your hop-up plate back in, like so. And again, you don't need an outer barrel with this kit. So this is all done. This is ready to go. Now for your slide, you'll have this barrel spacer right here, and you have a flat spot on the top of the barrel spacer right here. And you can see I crowned the inside. I chamfered the inside, so you can slide the barrel in a lot easier. All right. And again, if this is too tight around your barrel, you can sand down the inside by going like this with some sandpaper, or if you have a file or a rasp, you can run it on the inside as well. But it should be pretty good of all barrels. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when you get that 100mm outer barrel, I recommend getting the Crazy Jet barrel. That's a pretty nice barrel to get for this kit. A lot of mk23 users or mod their mk23s, so we use a Crazy Jet barrel. Okay, so back to this part. You'll see this flat portion right here. That is going to face down, pointing towards your front sight. So push it in place like so. There you go. And then you can take your outer barrel and slide it right into place. And you gotta pull the spring back a little so it sits there. And that's it. Oh, totally forgot to reinstall the hop-up top dead center right there. So, okay, let me put everything back together. Okay. Install the barrel into the slide. It helps to pull the spring back so you can guide the spring guide rod right into that hole there. Alright. Now, the novice version is a little bit tight around this port, but you can just push it down. So it was tight around this area. But if you have the Hadron Designs version, it's actually a perfect fit. But for the knowledge version, you can shave off the 2 corners here if you want to, but you don't have to. It actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Kind of needs it. So, you're going to take your top dead center mod, and you're going to scrape off these 2 corners here. See what I'm doing? So you don't need to cut in any direction, just scraping off the 2 sides should do. Okay. Alright, so that should fit a whole lot better. Yeah, okay. Or you can take a file and file down these 2 sides. Let me show you. So once you file it down enough, you'll see that it'll fit a lot better in this space. Jesus, that's still tight. But anyways, you get the point. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Hadron Designs version because it's a lot better. Okay. All right, so now reinstall your barrel. Like so. Make sure it can freely go back and forward. Okay. And take your whole assembly and you're going to install that onto the slide without cutting this yet. So let's go ahead and install it. I left a notch here, so it's a lot easier to install the slide catch onto the stubby mod. And don't worry about this sliding out; it's actually pretty snug in there. And if you have a good holster, it'll never come out. So, anyways. You take your slide here, and you're going to take a piece of tape, and you're going to line it up with the end of the barrel, end of the slide, not the end of the compensator, the end of the slide. You'll see a line right here. So you're going to tape the slide all the way around, or the frame all the way down, around, like so. Like so. Okay, now you can remove your slide again. Take your slide off and wrap that tape all the way around, like so. And that will make it easier for you to use your saw and cut that off. So go ahead and cut the front off and you'll be left with this. And again, that's a lot easier to do now because you don't have to cut the front off of the slide or the frame to install onto this portion, so it won't look like this. And here's the long slide. See how that big old square gap there? You want to avoid that because my new slides actually have a square bottom. And that is it. Oh, there you go. And you're all set with the kit. Everything should be good. You want to take it apart and shoot it a few times to make sure your top dead center is sighted in, or your hop up is sighted or adjusted properly, and everything is good, fine, and working for this kit. Now, if you wanted to use the slide without the compensator, you have to do, depending on what model mk23 you have, you'll have to do some different things. Okay. All right. Take out the nozzle. Take out the barrel. So back to this part. You got your inner barrel. Now this is the ASG. Again, I said this is the ASG or clone. I mean the clone hop-up unit. It's a lot shorter than the TM version. The TM version again is really long. So what you can do if you want to use this slide, let me set this one aside. If you want to use this slide, you'll need to get the Tokyo Marui outer barrel. Tokyo Marui outer barrel, or a aftermarket Tokyo Marui 14 millimeter counterclockwise outer barrel. And you'll be able to slide that over, and it'll be pretty stubby as well. So it'll come out to be this short. All right, and then you can install that after you put your nozzle in. You can install that, and you'll have your 14 millimeter counterclockwise threads on there. And if you get the stock Tokyo Marui version, you'll have clockwise 16 millimeter threads, and you can use your Tokyo Marui suppressor. So yeah, it'll be quite long on that. But if you get the Knobridge version, it's modular, so you can adjust it to be whatever size you want, like so. You can have this tiny one, or if you have a mock suppressor you want to use, you can use as well. So this is a foam-filled mock suppressor with a fart flap as well. All right, so this is all set. And install it, and you are good to go. Just like so. You got your own threads and everything. So again, the slides don't come back very far. You don't really need to. Yeah. And again, to remove it, there's still the notch here. And what else? Okay, for the RMR mount, you're gonna everything's all set for the RMR actually. So really, you don't have to do much. You just set it down. Let me go ahead and take off the inner barrel so it sits flat. You're gonna take your RMR, your clone RMR, and it has it came with screws. It should have came with screws at least. And you can just slide. Has tabs for these two holes right here, and the screws are perfectly aligned. The screw holes are perfectly aligned. So that's it. You take your screws, put it in place, take your Allen key, and screw them down like so. And you'll start to feel a lot of resistance. And don't over tighten this. You'll be able to see when to stop when that screw is fully seated. When you over tighten it, you're just going to strip it, and then you're going to have to heat it up and fix it yourself. So again, don't over tighten these. Don't want to do that. But once you start turning, they'll start biting into the plastic, and it will be fully seated. So just keep turning until it's way too tight, and don't use the torque side of this and go ahead and turn it, because it's too much pressure. So just go ahead and use the skinny side and turn it down, and you'll feel until it's like way too tight. So you'll know when to stop with that. So all right, your RMR is on your slide, and you can put your barrel back in, and you're all set to go. There you go. So some guys actually like a round suppressor on their stubby mod. They think it looks better, but either way, it actually looks pretty cool. I actually prefer using the quick detach suppressor for obvious reasons. It's more convenient, and it's just super cool to use. So, all right, guys, that is it. Pull that aside. That's it for the install video. So in the description, I'll add timestamps for this slide and a timestamp for this slide. And all right, go ahead and go over to my Etsy page, or its Etsy store, and make the purchase. It's this one again, this whole kit, the slide, suppressor, and it comes with the spring guide rod, and it comes with the barrel spacer. Is $80, And this slide alone doesn't come with suppressor, doesn't come with RMR. The only thing it comes with is the spring guide rod, as this one is $45. So, alright guys, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the installation video of the stubby mk23 mod, or USB compact mod for the mk23. Alright, you guys have a awesome day and stay safe out there. Alright, peace out.